Hey guys, welcome back to the Perfectly Wasted podcast. I'm the host, DullOxide. Today is episode 77 on entertainment, specifically bang for your buck. You can find all my previous episodes on the Drinking Wisemen YouTube channel, along with any other podcast or videos I'm a part of, all my day-to-day photos, cosplay photos on my Instagram at DullOxide. So to start, I found that today's society is kind of very centered on entertainment. Okay, if you've watched the news recently or read any article online recently about pretty much anything, the majority of them are centered towards entertainment. And basically, I just want to take a minute and step back and look at if we're really spending our money in the best way to get the most entertainment out of it, which seems kind of silly. And I'm sure, some people consider this when they go and they try and entertain themselves, but I just wanted to touch base on this a little bit because with the current state of things where money is a really big deal to practically everyone and entertainment seems to be as big a deal. Like as an example, if you go and you try and look at any trending topics right now or any news anywhere, the case that you'll find nothing about entertainment is just non-existent. So that being the case, since it is kind of a big factor and since we do spend our money on these things, I just kind of wanted to touch base on it. So when people think of entertainment, I feel like the very first thing, or the majority of people at least, will think of movies, okay? Why movies? Well, probably because it was one of the earliest forms of entertainment that wasn't accessible from your home. It was kind of like a luxury entertainment where you had to go away from your home to be able to enjoy the entertainment that was new and only provided by them. Now, even earlier than that, you had things like plays and musicals and orchestras and things that you could go see inside of theaters that weren't movies, that also were kind of more high end. And that was also a form of entertainment. They had stuff that was for, from peasant on to royals, for instance. But nowadays, that kind of translates over to movies. So essentially, movies is kind of the basis of how we go ahead and we determine if you are getting the bang for your buck in entertainment and how that kind of translates. So if we were to go ahead and try and put a price on bang for buck, movies is pretty much where we go ahead and we draw the line as to what's worth what. And that's just because a lot of people go to movies, a lot of people know what movies cost, and it's very easy to take that number and just kind of move it across the board. So for instance, the lowest cost movie ticket that you might be able to get is somewhere in the area of about $5. And that's if you're going to, the first showing of the day at most theaters, or if they have a special at your theater nearby, about $5. Now, with that, you also have to take into account the high end of movie tickets, which is probably around the area of about $25. And that's like IMAX if you're going late at night, if you're going on like a Friday night, if it's a brand new premiere, things like this. So on average, I think it's pretty safe to say that the majority of people, if you're going to the movies, are spending about $11 on a ticket. All right. So if we take that in and we calculated $11 for a ticket and the average movie length is about 2 hours to 3 hours, then we're looking at about a $5 an hour, roughly, amount for entertainment. Okay. So in this case, if you're able to get an hour of entertainment for $5, then you're pretty much meeting bang for buck. Okay, so if we use the movies as a basis, then we kind of expand past that. Well, what's the best bang for buck for your entertainment? There's a couple of different options. It depends on how you view things as monetarily, can you afford to do these things? Obviously, some of these things have a different amount of uses. I'm talking about items at this point to entertain yourself with, and obviously, there are some things that you can utilize much more during your day-to-day life than others. So examples of these things would be like computers. With that being said, a computer is practically useless if you don't have the internet. So the internet is pretty much the all-around biggest bang for buck entertainment item that there is, okay? For a price of anywhere between $20, and this is obviously depending on where you live and what's accessible to you, between $20 and maybe $60 a month, you can have practically unlimited internet usage. And that allows you to read articles online, watch YouTube videos, watch things on Netflix, and any number of other media that are free or low cost. Now, specifically Netflix, as an example, has a very low subscription fee for the amount of entertainment that it can provide you. You can pretty much endlessly stream on Netflix for the entire month and not have to pay more than like $75 for your internet and for Netflix. The problem with that is you need a television. And that's the inherent problem with a lot of these things, is that entertainment usually requires an additional factor. So, for instance, movies requires transportation to get there. Netflix requires internet, and it requires a television, and it requires some other form of something to take Netflix to you, okay? Video games similarly require a television, require a system. Now, I would say that video games, because of their replay value and things to that effect, generally have a really big bang for buck, because you're paying maybe $60 when a game first comes out, and then past when the game comes out, sometimes you have free downloadable content, sometimes not, but you get to maybe play it with your friends, you get to maybe have online play with different people, and there are different challenges that you might want to go through and accept. There's kind of video games that meet the criteria and that pass the criteria here, but also there's something that's not really accounted for, which is free-to-play games. Free-to-play games are generally free that require internet access, and you can utilize them to get entertainment. Now, the problem with that is, of course, you need either the system or the console to be able to play these games, and you also need the internet. The internet itself is a huge fucking factor here, okay? Because if you think about it, beyond just YouTube videos and being able to access Netflix, you also have information, just tons, the endless amounts. And like, there's no way any of us could ever go on the internet and find everything there is to know or learn or entertain ourselves with. It's just impossible at this point. It's gotten so massive that it's impossible to get as much entertainment out of it as is put into it at this point. So really, the case is that if you can get internet at a low enough cost on a device that doesn't cost you very much, that's really where you're going to get the most significant bang for your buck. Now, with that being said, in this case, I think that smartphones specifically are probably actually the biggest bang for the buck. Majority of smartphone plans, you could get unlimited internet, unlimited text, unlimited calls for around the area of $40 to $70 a month, which is the same as about having internet at your house. But the benefits far outweigh the cost in this case. Now, if we're strictly speaking entertainment, just strictly speaking entertainment, smartphones have a variety of different games on them that are free to play. They have access to the internet no matter where you are in the majority of cases. And they connect you to your friends by utilizing your ability to speak to them anywhere that you are. So cell phones specifically are a great investment for entertainment. Overall, I'd say that if you are looking for the most bang for buck and you want to go technology-wise, a cell phone is the premium item to have in this case, okay? Because it's just you have unlimited access to pretty much everything at this point, and all it can do is assist you in your day-to-day life. Whether it be entertaining you while you're sitting in bed and can't sleep, or entertaining you while you're waiting on the bus or in an Uber, or entertaining you while you're on break somewhere. You get the maximum usage out of this device because it's always on you. Now, if you're willing to spend a little bit more money, and if you want to go ahead and have a little bit more fun with your money, then a PC is probably the best way to go, because you're going to be able to play some games that you won't be able to play on your phone, and actually games that you will be able to play on your phone at the same time. So PCs are probably the next biggest bang for buck. The only problem is that both cell phones and PCs have a pretty large investment attached to them, whether it be a 2-year contract or, $1,000 that you have to throw down on a system to get a good, decent system to be able to play video games on. They both cost a lot of money. So with all these things being considered, again, we come down to pretty much cell phones. Cell phones are going to be, essentially in my eyes, the best bang for buck item that you can get to entertain yourself with as just, an average everyday person. Now, are there other things that you can entertain yourself with? Of course. Books, the library, generally free, take some time to get to, might have to pay for a bus or for transportation in some way. It's a great way to spend a minimal amount of money and still get entertainment. However, in this day and age, I kind of feel like books aren't really there anymore. It's not that I don't own books, not that I don't read books, but the majority of things that are in published media, let's say, like published paperback media, are available online where you can read them or, get them through other means that aren't necessarily strictly okay and read them. That just makes it so that internet is just that much more worth it. And since the cheapest form of internet is probably going to be through a cell phone provider, a cell phone is really where it's at these days. So overall, that's kind of my take on this. If you're looking for the cheapest form of entertainment, you might already have it. And with that being said, if you do have any different forms of entertainment that are maybe cheaper or that you think are better bang for buck, by all means, let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed the episode, please do subscribe, like, or share. And as always, that was 10 minutes perfectly wasted.